activity and traffic concerns to the Milltown Police Department at 732-828-1100. Milltown Police Department is currently accepting applications for part-time public safety telecommunicators and crossing guards. Information is available through the police department and is posted within Borough Hall. The Milltown Police Department wishes everyone a happy and safe holidays. Thank you very much, Chief Brian Kennelly. I do have a couple of other announcements. Last week, during the water and sewer break at Borough Hall, the police, the rescue squad, and our fire department were all on site assisting in the emergency. There have been a few complaints about speeding on certain streets in Milltown, Washington Avenue, Main Street, Clay. The newest one is Kuthlau Avenue. I will be having a conversation with the police chief, and maybe we can tighten up a little bit of the watch that we have on Kuthlau, but we've been getting a few complaints on Kuthlau Avenue, so if anybody wants to report anything, please do so to the police department. And that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Utilities, chaired by Councilman Richard Revelinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real quick, Councilman Ligotti, I don't know where Kuthlau Avenue is, but I've always pronounced it Kuthlau.
What's it called?
Kuthlau.
I'm sorry. Thank you for the correction.
No problem. Limited report for tonight. As you know, last week we had a water main break over at Oak Avenue. And unfortunately, the utility director hasn't been able to provide me with a report for this past month due to the break that occurred on Monday, as well as the events that occurred last week. I believe he's still currently out of his office or normal chair for operating due to the flooding down here at Borough Hall. But in short, all testing for our water samples is on track. No other issues. We did have a boil water advisory go out to the residents at the mill in the affected area. However, that has since been lifted, and all repairs that were needed to be made have been made. And Nixle went out this morning regarding some work over at Yarnell for valve maintenance and repair. I believe that work has been completed. So that's about the gist of it.
Randy will cover the report on the flooding.
And in regards to the flooding down at Borough Hall, our BA, Mr. Randy Barr, will provide some insight to that as well.
What you want me to do it now, or once you're done?
Or whenever you're ready.
You could hop into it right now.
Okay. Just wanted to bring you up to date with the incident that we had last Monday that canceled the meeting. As you know, the building was flooded. We immediately called in ServPro to do a cleanup of the and analysis of what needed to be done. As you walk around the hallways, you could see ServPro has completed, if you will, the demolition of what needed to be taken out. We are working, Gabriella actually met with the next contractor that's going to be doing the sheetrock carpeting and replacement of all the items, and we hope to have that, might be optimistic at this time of the year, but I hope to have everything completed by year end. And back to whatever normal is. So we'll get back to normal operations. I'm going to be meeting with the department heads that participated in the water main break and sewer line break and get a full report to the insurance company. We are working with our insurance company, who in turn will go after the contractor's insurance company and so forth down the line. So hopefully by the end of this year, everything will be back to normal and back in place. I just wanted to thank all the employees for bearing with us in some difficult construction time. I will also say ServPro handled it very quickly and expediently. They did it very cleanly and so forth. So everything worked out okay due to some very unfortunate circumstances, and we'll hopefully, like I said, by the end of the year we'll be back to normal.
Thank you. Anything else?
Not for my report, however, just a quick question. Did they find that any work was necessary to be done in the bathrooms? I know at one point you had mentioned the tiles and the grout.
We are going to be talking to them tomorrow morning about that. There was flood water that got in between grout lines. ServPro feels that it has gotten underneath some of the tile where the grout has been missing. So there's a couple options that we have. We can certainly clean out the grout lines as best we can and re-grout and re-seal the floor, or we can tear up the floor and re-tile each of the bathroom floors. So we're gonna talk to the contractor about cost of each to see what the difference is.
Very good.
Is that the end of your report?
That's it.
Thank you. Okay, next we will hear from the Department of Public Works and Recycling, chaired by Councilwoman Dorianne Kerber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Borough Council meeting for Monday, December 17th. And the report is, along with all regular curbside collections, pothole repair has begun and will be ongoing. Borough Hall has been cleaned of leaves and decorated for the Christmas tree lighting on Friday. Street sign repair has taken place at West Lawrence, Highland, East Lawrence, Borum, Nelson, Oaks, and other locations around town and will continue to be ongoing. Street sign leaf cleanup has taken place at Joffrey Park, Bradford Park, Herbert Avenue, and has begun at Albert Avenue Park. Leaf cleanup at borough-owned properties will be ongoing until completed. A broken railing at the senior center was replaced and the back railing repaired. Catch basins cleaning are ongoing. Leaf bags are still available at the Borough Garage from 7:30 to 3 p.m. Leaf bag collection will continue through the end of the year. Christmas tree chipping will begin on January 3rd. Please remove all decorations from trees before placing at the curb. Do not place trees in plastic bags. No appointment is needed. The next concrete collection will be January 14th through January 18th. Please call extension 187 to make an appointment. Department of Public Works would like to wish all the residents a safe, happy, and healthy holiday season. Please check milltownnewjersey.org and Channel 15 for DPW updates. Oh, wait, I have a garage report too. And much more. Service police cars, service snow plows, install sanders on truck 97 and truck 98. Turn the water off at Michelin Field. Service garage truck 90, 91, 92. Replace clutch and radiator on leaf vacuum. Replace the backup alarms on truck 97 and 98 and the John Deere loader. Replace the alternator on car 82 and service truck 13 and 15. I did attend the Middlesex County Health and Wellness Council meeting, so we will have some additional work for Public Works. They will be having signs sent to us, or I'll be dropped off, or I'll pick them up for no smoking within our parks. These are the newer signs with the e-cigarettes on the sign. In addition, the CDC is issuing tick signs, so we'll have those provided to us to put throughout our parks and some of our borough areas. Have no cost, both of them. In addition, this week, the freeholders meeting will approve our bylaws. We have plans to really move forward with working with municipalities. I have reached out to them in terms of doing our walk and health fair. We'll do that January resolution and discuss the date, and it'll be called Walk with the Doc. It's a little upscale. It'll include many county officials and county county residents to join in, and I'm looking forward to that planning for next year, so long as it's approved. In addition, with the health and wellness, they're starting to work with a lot of programs to offer to particular seniors and those who may be low income to provide additional types of vouchers for the farmers market. So I will have more information in January. Now that we're waiting for the bylaws to get approved to really push all these programs for everybody. But it'll be a voucher program throughout the county, different than the one that the state has to offer. Okay. In addition, The county is doing a comprehensive master plan. I passed this out to everybody, the professionals, the council. I've put this at the table out front and put it at some of the locations where people stop in. Destination 2040 is Middlesex County's comprehensive master plan. It will shape how our county will grow and change over the next 20 years. We want to make sure we're setting ourselves up for the brightest future by integrating a plan, and it lists housing, transportation, economic opportunity, the environment, et cetera, et cetera. So what they're doing is you can either telephone them and offer your comments. You can email them at destination2040@co.middlesex.nj.us, or you can go to the website and go through the website and offer your comments. And the telephone number is 848-932-2876. I gave a copy to the clerk, so hopefully we can get that on the website. And let's see, one other thing I had. I did attend the meeting like I had mentioned in the past regarding transportation. There is another meeting coming up in January for the North Jersey Transportation Authority, and basically our population is getting older. We need to really fine-tune transportation needs transit-wise. Some no longer travel via car. Sometimes they don't have family members that are local. So they're really going to be doing a much more comprehensive look and working with the transit systems, New Jersey Transit, Access Link, which is not so great. You know, we need to improve these things. And at this meeting, what they do is they have people voice what challenges and difficulties they've had. I mean, for some people, it's just a matter of the wrong timing for the bus travels, or they're waiting and they don't show up. So they're working with the several transit systems, Coach, Suburban, and Transit, and New Jersey Transit, of course, to fine-tune those and look at open new ways that maybe locally we can start sharing our services, partnering with other municipalities, because there's a lot of times 3 p.m. is their cutoff time, but sometimes appointments are later. Sometimes our appointments are on Fridays. So they're looking at this as a plan. They're looking at possible grants to apply for, which are becoming much more available for the county to share with municipalities. So we'll see, hopefully that goes forward, and we can see some support and provide some of our seniors with additional transportation to places outside of the locked time that we have currently, which is usually Monday through Thursday, I think 9 to 1, 9 to 2 sometimes. Okay, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Environmental Health and Social Services, chaired by Councilwoman Trina Mayer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the last meeting, the Elm Place subdivision was discussed, and the Environmental Commission expressed concern about building on steep slopes. Steep slopes were identified on the Our parcel prior to subdivision and were reported in the draft NRI that Hiram Gruhl created. The planning board and clerk have a copy. They also discussed the HANA application for repaving on a lot that presently has a very high impervious surface. Given that fact, its proximity to Lawrence Brook, and our general need to deal with our impervious surface problem in Milltown, we presented a letter to the planning board serious consideration of alternatives to the business as usual approach to paving. The letter is attached, which I will provide. We also talked about the Schwendeman property there, and the progress there. I will, as an aside, be having the next meeting of the Schwendeman Steering Committee in January. The Green Team, they discussed that there are still grants available for the Green Team to apply for, and potentially to have an opportunity to have a TCNJ student assist with that team for that. The county open space site, new fall plantings were made by Will Bradford as part of his Eagle Scout project. They're still concerned about the lighting at the electrical substation. The light pollution, annoyance to neighbors, and then the light in and around the substation that it causes. As far as Public Works, they're concerned about the encroachment on wetlands by Public Works at their site near the senior center. The environmental commissioners noted that the soil was tracked by vehicles leaving the construction site for the new Public Works facility going down Washington Avenue. They also wanted to point out that they have some membership seats available. We've had a couple of people that moved, and we will, hopefully people will be filling out their citizen leadership and being applied for that. And also, I'd like to announce that food handlers' licenses are due by December 31st to the clerk's office. Animal licensing, dogs and cats, will begin January 2nd. Renewal letters have been sent. Once the county rabies clinics are scheduled, it will be posted on the website and available in Borough Hall. Any questions can be directed to the clerk's office. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Recreation, chaired by Councilman Randy Farkas.
Thank you. Along with daily operations of the Rec and SAC departments, we have the following report. SAC reminders. This is a courtesy reminder that all past due fees, that is from school year SAC, summer SAC, and current school year SAC, are due by December 26th. If payments and accounts are not current, your child care will be interrupted beginning the return of school in January. SAC does not have staff to bill monthly or send out constant reminders. Making sure your SAC account is current is the parent's responsibility. Please be on time with your payments. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. We are still accepting employment applications for adult SAC aides and a SAC site manager. Please go online or pick up an application at Borough Hall. The hours are 5 days, approximately 3 to 4.5 hours per day. New SAC policy. If schools close early for an emergency or for weather, there will be no PM SAC. If there is a delayed opening, there is no AM SAC. If after-school activities are canceled by the Board of Ed due to weather, there will be no after-school SAC. Please be sure to have a plan in place for your child at dismissal. There will be no SAC staff on site to receive your child. Please be sure to review your plan with your child. Recreation information. We are still accepting youth basketball registrations with a late fee. Please be sure to include the late fee of $15 per child with the registration. Coaches will contact their teams once they are complete. Milltown annual Christmas tree lighting was held Friday, December 7th. We would like to thank everyone who participated and helped out to make it another year of success. The Recreation Committee will not meet in December due to the holidays. We will begin again after the new year on Wednesday, January 16th at 7 p.m. The Recreation Department would like to wish everyone a safe, happy holiday season. That concludes the Recreation report.
Thank you. Okay, we have a brief mayor's report. First, I would like to thank all of our employees, professionals, etc., for responding to the flooding of Town Hall. I'd like to thank them for all that they have done. And I would like to also thank the members of the council for their concern, understanding, and on-the-spot decision-making and problem-solving that afternoon. It was really, it was really a horrible thing what had happened down here with the flooding of Barrow Hall. But it was nice to see the members of the council working together to help solve the problems and make the decisions that need to be made quickly with the support of our clerk and our business administrator. It was greatly appreciated all the way around. It could have been a lot worse, but all in all, as Mr. Barr has reported, ServPro came in and has done really an outstanding job getting Town Hall back up and functioning. So to everyone involved, thank you. Thank you. I mean, thank you isn't enough, but really thank you for the lack of a better way to say it. It really was, it was really nice to see everybody, take care of the situation. I have two other things real quick. The reorganization meeting of the Milltown Borough Council will take place on Wednesday, January 2nd, 2019, 7 p.m. here at Barrow Hall. So mark your calendars. And now I have a statement regarding volunteer appointments. Volunteer appointments to all boards, committees, agencies will be made at the January reorganization meeting of the borough. Appointments can only be made to volunteers who have completed the citizen leadership application and submitted the same to the borough clerk's office. If you are interested in serving the community on one of the borough's boards, committees, or agencies, please complete the citizen leadership application. Applications can be found on the borough website, milltowntv15.org, and are also available at the borough clerk's office. The clerk has also brought some to tonight's meeting, so if you'd like to get some before you leave, please see her at the end of the meeting. And that's all I have. So again, if you want to volunteer, you want to help serve the community, come down and fill out your application. Any old business to come before the council this evening?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We met regarding the complete streets diagrams, and in terms of the discussion between the county, borough staff, and myself, we have determined to do mostly just painting, enhance the corners of Ford and Main Street, as well as Church, East-West, and Main Street. So I will have that information tomorrow morning. The council will receive it. Basically, what they want to do is paint it on the corners, a corner of Ford Avenue, and come out from the main right corner where the crossing guard usually stands, to make it more yellow and lines so that people don't park there. It doesn't become helpful when people do park there because you can't see the kids. And we're trying to enhance that improvement. It was discussed. I know Lou was at the meeting, and he's going to discuss it with his traffic person at CME to see, if he has any other questions on that decision. But that was approved by the engineering and the planning department from the county, as well as our team. And basically what the crosswalks will do, instead of just having white lines, we're going to increase the lines between them and keep it standard, whatever the law is, and accomplish that. And then I think we will have one more meeting. We'll, reach out to people. They can offer their comments as public outreach. So I will email tomorrow the staff, the department heads as well as the council, so they have that information. Number two, earlier this year we had discussions about the pool. Are we looking to do an outsourced management? I know you haven't had many meetings the last couple of months, so I was just curious, Councilman Farkas, if that was an open discussion. I understand, there's a lot of stuff to do in the summertime between the SAC, between the Albert Avenue camp, as well as the recreation. I get it. It is a very challenging, especially for one full-time person and a part-time person. So I was wondering, people have been asking me, and I said I would come to the meeting and ask you.
Well, we had a very successful year. We had 3 pool supervisors. My understanding is at least 2 of them are returning and possibly 3. So I think that based on the success of last year, we are going to continue with the way it's been run and running as it did last year.
How did we do financially for the pool this year?
Do not know. I think Mr. Barr would have that.
And I don't have it with me, but I did review it with the recreation director. I believe we did well this year with the pool, despite uncooperative weather for a good portion of the summer. So taking those factors into play, I think we did well with the pool.
Did I not see in your resolution that we took funds from the pool that we didn't use and we allocated them somewhere else?
Correct.
Right, $10,000.
Correct. And that goes with the inclement weather where we don't open the pool, we don't have to pay staff.
So we went from losing quite a sum of money last year to being in the black this year?
I don't want to say we made money, but with any kind of recreation program, you have to take a whole analysis to view what aspects should be self-paying, what aspects should be a little bit of taxpayer benefit, and so forth. What portion is a community event, what should be paid by the recipients. So we are working with I'm working with the recreation director to try to improve how we do things at the pool and see if we could improve receipts and cut costs so that the gap is better.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other old business?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question, because you were talking about the reorg, and it brought to mind that when we read our department assignments, a lot of the times the departments don't necessarily, I mean, so what Dorian reads is partly what goes under mine. So for the reorg, is there any, I was going to ask you if you could consider, under the rules of council, to make the departments fit with the committees that actually fit under the department. For instance, I have environmental, which health and social services go to the environmental commission meeting. However, Councilwoman Kerber has seniors and green team, which would fit under environmental. Councilman Ligotti has public safety. However, he doesn't have OEM or fire. So I think if the departments and the committees that went under them were all under one umbrella, it might make sense, because then people could follow up on things. Because, you know, to be quite honest, I didn't realize that there were transportation issues and things, because I'm not privy to what goes on with the senior meetings. So is there some way that you could address that for rules of council for the reorg?
I will certainly look to do what I can.
Thank you. Appreciate
problem.
that. I have a couple more things under old business.
Sure.
A question actually for Mr. Barr. When we get the finance report for the amount owed, those people that are in arrears, they've been invoiced, and there's no expectation that we're going to write any of that off, is there?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes, they've been notified, and no, we will not write that.
So I'm just curious as to why that's the only thing we get in a finance report every month, what people owe.
Why are we getting it?
Yeah.
Because I stay on top of it, it's money coming into the borough, and I was asked years ago, when I was also on finance, to report that to her, and I have worked with billing, and we're just giving rough estimates. We cannot talk about the individuals, they have privacy rights. Most of them will be, it's like 1 or 2 months behind. It could be out of state.
But we're always going to get that money.
Yeah, I mean, but there are some there that are $3,000-4,000.
But we're not like a private industry where we're going to have to write off bad debt. We're going to get it one way or another. It's been invoiced, it's in our budget.
I sure do hope so.
But so I guess out of all the things in a finance report that you could report month after month, that's the only thing we get. Is there anything else that could be reported in the finance committee besides money that is owed, and we will certainly get paid, whether people sell their house, whether you put a lien on it, whether you turn all their stuff off? I mean,
What we report is the beginning of the year is when the finance committee is actually active in doing the budget. Towards the end of the year, we don't have meetings primarily for budget. Mr. Barr and I have discussed it, and he is meeting with department heads now and preparing for the upcoming budget, and that will be talked about once we all get back involved with it.
And the finance committee, I'm going to send out some dates tomorrow to see when we could have our first meeting with the budgets. I can talk to Council President Dixon on a couple items, a couple thoughts I have to give a more overview of the borough's finances. I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for, Councilman.
or yeah, all of
I mean, we concentrate on certain revenues, but we also have expense appropriations in finance and everything.
Right.
So I can certainly talk to you about that and give some ideas and move forward with possibly a more thorough finance report.
The whole the planning, the administration, a little more fleshed out report would be good, right? Because as Councilman Revelinsky said, it's our job to plan, budget, and prioritize. So it would be nice to hear about that. Also, I wanted to bring up something that I took a note on to follow up on that we talked about a lot at the last meeting. Unfortunately, he's not here. our friend Mr. Nastis, not of Nastis Brothers Plumbing, has been here at several meetings asking about the corner of Lawrence and Main. And we told him that they had been to court 11 times. We followed up and got the records from the court. He has got, the property person has gotten a notice of violation. He has never gotten a citation. He has never been to court. He has never been fined. So I just wanted to clear that up. That's, it's something that, and also, the BA sent me that there are notices of abatement that he has to abate by a certain date. I'm not sure if they were followed up by that date, but I just wanted to let everybody know that, you know, it's not like somebody has paid a fine year after year after year.
The person or person responsible for the maintenance of the property, I should say, has complied with the notice of violation. However, when it gets bad again, we give out another notice of violation and they do conform.
Correct.
So it's a
Right.
ongoing area where we need to keep an eye on it, and if it gets out of hand, we need to send another notice of violation.
Right.
Maybe a little notice of the date it was abated, if there was a follow-up done,
Sure.
could be done as well.
Right.
So he's kind of like the kid you gotta keep telling to clean up his room and make his bed?
Yeah, but
Basically.
I think we have to be careful because we were quick to point out that he's been fined 11 times and he hasn't been fined at all.
I never said he was fined 11 times. I said
I
11
believe you did.
citations. I said 11 citations went out.
You said he's
Over
been
the
to
last-
court 11 times
over
and that
the
he was
last-
fined 11 times.
Fine, play the tape. But anyhow.
I did.
That's what's been said. Now, also, just to bring up to date on that, I believe it was Ralph and Mike Marcinzik went out there, they measured the stop sign. The stop sign was 20-some feet from the curb, which is the only street they found that it was that far back. So actually, cars were stopping too far back, which was a hindrance in them seeing. They moved it to 8 feet back from the curb line, which is standard for the other streets, but they have no idea why that one was moved so far back. Could have been an old-time accident, somebody knocked it over when it was replaced, it was replaced wrong. But they did straighten it out. And that's now 8 feet back, which gives you a much better opportunity to see the site plan as you're coming up to the corner. In addition, the bushes still have to be cut, but it gives you a better idea of the site plan.
Did they paint a stop line, you know?
Excuse me?
Did they paint a stop line?
I think they changed all that. Ralph we were taking care of that. Although Main Street's a county road, that side street's our responsibility. So when Ralph moved that up, I believe that's what he took care of. I can't swear he did, maybe due to the weather, I don't know, but the sign has been moved.
Okay.
I have two other quick things, Mr. Mayor. We passed a resolution tonight regarding a swimming pool, and when I was at the zoning board meeting earlier this month, the zoning board, and the recommendation was on there, but they asked me to address it to the full council. The board makes the following recommendation for zoning ordinance amendments or revisions. With regard to private swimming pools, the borough-wide 10-foot standard side and rear yard setback requirements for properties with widths of 60 feet or less, as is typical in the R4, R6, and R6A zones, be reduced to take into account that the compliance with the 10-foot standard is a hardship for those whose properties are less than 60 feet. The board recommends that for lots with widths of 60 feet or less, the minimum side yard and rear yard standards be reduced to 6 feet, and that the fence height for those properties be 6 feet. So we will do, that's a recommendation from the zoning board to amend that ordinance.
Yeah, so the zoning board made a recommendation to amend the ordinance, and it is noted by us, and we do have record of it.
Okay.
We are working towards, and the department has been in discussions for over a year regarding the rewrite of our code book. Instructions and meetings with the departments have taken place to address that. So this would be one of those details that we would like to include in Chapter 34 when we rewrite the comprehensive development ordinance. Since this is a project that we need to take on, and this is a a relatively small detail in the scope of comprehensive development. We'd like to encompass it when we do all of them.
Right.
This is going to be different than the redevelopment ordinances that we're dealing with Ford Avenue, because we're on restricted timelines, and those are imperative for us to do, and they will ultimately be included in a rewrite of the code book, but we have a lot of inconsistencies in our code book that we need to address, and this would be one of them.
Thank you. Also, I wanted to thank Councilwoman Kerber for the Destination 2040 from the county. That I have actually spoken to John Carroll about that, because we are hopefully going to piggyback on that with our strategic plan, and that prompts me to say that I will be doing a follow-up meeting for the strategic planning in January after the holidays. The final thing I have is I just have one quick question. Since our meeting was canceled last week, I see that we have additional resolutions that were added. However, had we met last week, I think we would have voted on one that has been removed. So I'd like to ask the mayor why that was removed.
I had a phone call from the borough attorney. He said he was looking into some questions on that, and it was pulled.
So was it pulled, but what if we had voted on it last week?
All I know is what the borough attorney called and told me.
What were his questions?
I'm not too sure.
So it was dealing with something that dealt with the state statute, where we weren't following the state statute. So I'm wondering what we're going to do to address that.
Well, I'm waiting to hear from the attorney on whatever the question was.
I think it was to appoint a position where we cannot appoint it, because in every municipality of this state, the mayor, or in this case of a municipality which has adopted the commission form of government pursuant to the provisions of the commission form of government law, the commissioner, serving as the director of the department to which the responsibility for emergency management has been assigned, shall appoint a municipal emergency management coordinator from among the residents of the municipality. So the state statute states that it has to be from among the residents of the municipality.
Yeah, that was addressed, I think, at the last time we had the appointment of Mr. Marcinzik as the OEM director.
And what was the outcome of that?
I believe there was, we had notification from, was it the county, Ron?
We had notification from the county OEM director that said he concurred with your appointment, and that he totally supported your appointment, and that was just a suggestive guideline, basically.
So in other words,
that was in letter form, I believe, was sent to you.
All right, so I'm guessing, yeah, that was 3 years ago.
3 years ago, and that was a
Okay.
3-year appointment, yeah.
so we can just do an appointment to go against a statute from the state of New
Well, I
Jersey?
believe that's what Mr. Bruder's looking into.
That's what I guess he's looking into. So
That's what
once
he's looking into.
he looks into it, we'll be able to do things accordingly.
Correctly.
Well, we'll see what Mr. Bruder has to say. I don't know what he has to say, he's not here. Any other old business?
New business.
New business, any new business? No new business. Audience comments?
Oh, I'm sorry, can we go back real quick?
Sure.
Oh, no, never mind. Well, I'll get it in council comments.
Audience
601,
comments? Anyone from the... Please state your name and address for identification on the record.
Alan Godber for Fern Place again, and President of the Lawrenceburg Watershed Partnership, and I have a thing to report which I'd like your thoughts on. There's some settlement funds have been made available, we heard about a few weeks back, related to some pollution which had occurred in the Raritan River, and this is of the order of $25 million. So along with, I'm sure, the money has to be spent on water improvements and environmental improvements in the Raritan River and adjacent facilities. So as you may know, like 4 years ago, we had 2 studies done on putting in fish ladders on the lowest 2 dams of the Lawrence Brook, which would, if they were installed, would allow herring and shad and other fish to be able to come up as far as the Milltown Dam. We made an initial application for this last week, and we managed to meet the deadline by about 1 hour. I remember 11 p.m. at night, having worked for like 4 days on it, 3 of us had, researching all the evidence. And we've requested $1.1 million, which if we were to get this, would allow both fish ladders to be designed and installed. We believe it might be a little less than that, but we put in for 1.1 million. If we get a positive reply to this, to proceed to a full application, we would request that the Borough of Milltown would be a supporter, at least maybe write a letter of support. We've already got about 6 other organisations, some at Rutgers, some at Middlesex County and such, who've agreed to write letters of support, and that would be important to be able to get the grant. So I thought I would just raise this matter this evening. There's no guarantee we're going to get this, but the Lawrence Brook and Fish Ladders has been on the list for the Army Corps of Engineers for like 8 years, and it's been marked on their maps showing that this is extremely desirable. So I would think there's a good chance that we will at least get an opportunity to make a full application.
Very good.
But we haven't heard back so far. This is like less than a week ago. I just thought I should raise it this time because obviously there won't be another council meeting until next month. And we might have reached that deadline by then, although we don't know.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Anyone else?
John Collins, 39 Southbrook Drive, Milltown, New Jersey. I was reading Milltown for All, and I think you did a very fine job on that. I really do. Everybody really enjoys it. And I was looking at the candidates forum, and I'm kind of, and interrupt me, Mr. What's your name, Bruder, if I go too far. And I was looking at the candidates forum, and there was shown impartiality to 2 candidates. And I was kind of struck by this. And then I got this thing in the mail, and here's the ad in this magazine, and this is one that Mr. Einbinder is employed by. And he's showing impartiality, and is there a financial relationship here between some of the candidates and
I don't
some
know.
of this, Mr. Brewer?
I don't know anything about that. I think
Because it's on Milltown for All, his
I understand that.
bio's on there.
This isn't really the forum to deal with
Oh,
any
well-
kind of a political.
Worship, well, it's not political, it's public funds here.
Well, I don't know any, like I said, John, in all due respect, I don't know anything about that. If there's any questions, there could be inquiries made to the clerk or to the borough
Or attorney?
I'm covering tonight, so.
Okay, well, I'll speak to him after
He's our
that.
fill-in attorney. Mr. Bruder's not.
Oh, he's our
Yes,
fill,
I'm
okay.
actually Carl Taylor. I'm not
But
John.
any questions
clear for
regarding
that.
to campaign or
Yeah.
anything like that can be addressed to the commissioners, county commissioners?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the relationship here, so,
Well, the other candidates had the same opportunity.
well,
to
don't
put it-
interrupt
to
me,
put it
will you,
at.
please?
Oh, no,
Would-
it's
please-
okay.
But don't interrupt me.
If you're going to cast
Well,
aspersions
well,
about, if you're going to cast aspersions about these
Excuse me,
people
excuse
here.
me,
Hold on,
I have
hold on.
I have the
Stop,
microphone.
stop,
I'll
stop,
give you
stop,
your
stop,
turn.
Stop, please, everyone stop.
You're like an old Coke machine, you're out of order.
Please, everyone stop. We're not going to discuss politics here.
No, this isn't politics, this is
Well-
public funds
Well,
that we're dealing
we
with.
don't know, John, we don't know if there's any public funds, okay?
Okay.
So if you do a little research and there are, then that's a whole different other thing. But anything like that needs to be dealt with through the proper channels, and this
Okay.
is not it,
Okay.
all right?
Oh, okay, happy holidays to all the Milltown residents.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close the audience comments. Council comments.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just want to wish everybody a happy belated Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. I did also attend the Senior Club's luncheon. It was last Thursday. I had a wonderful time meeting up with the seniors, and it was a beautiful luncheon at the Lago restaurant. And if you haven't noticed, the second van has come in. The other one is still out, being lettered and prepared for use for wheelchair recipients, space for that, so that we have the 2 vans. We're finally going to have them soon. I haven't received an update from Ralph. He's been quite busy, but I'm sure every week he puts in, a request to see what the date will be for delivery. So hopefully in the new year we'll have them both all done with the lettering, and the necessary, what is it, not the rug, but everything in the van, you know, the runners and everything for it. So we were looking forward to that, and so are the seniors. It's time, they're happy, and they can't wait for the new vans. And they're also hoping that, you know, the transportation will be increased by the recipients in the town, by the seniors. That's it.
Anyone else?
Just a correction, the van is in, the wheelchair access has been installed, the runners are in, the vehicle is out for lettering, and the second vehicle is in after Ralph had to go looking for it. But the wheelchair apparatus is installed and it's operational.
Even more marvelous.
Yes. I actually got a ride in it. So.
Nick, it's a Christmas miracle. Anyone else?
I have something, Mr. Mayor, first,
Sure.
and I'd like to agree that I'd like to wish everyone a joyous holiday season. I would like to address the website. You know, I've been pushing the website and being open and getting notification out to all residents. The website went live October 31st. We have a news flash. We have information that goes out. However, sometimes the website can only be as good as the information that it gets to somebody to type it in and put it in. And I sent last week an email to the clerk and the BA regarding how some information didn't make it onto the news flash. And I believe that we need some sort of specific policy that if A happens in the borough, then it goes to B and C. In other words, if something happens, it's not up to somebody's judgment as to whether it goes on the website, it's a nixle, it's, I don't know what else, you know, so there should be a way for people to know. And I bring that up because we did have the big disaster here on Washington Avenue. We got a nixle that was on the website. That same night, there was also a water main break on Oaks and Main. However, no notification about that went out. And why I was upset about that was because of the incident over here, people were wondering whether on the north side of town where I live, their water was discolored. Did it have anything to do with it? Did they have to boil their water because they saw that there was a boil water alert on Washington? So they were desperate for information, and none was coming from the official source, which is the borough of Milltown. And I've said time and time again, you shouldn't have to be friends or neighbors with a council person or an employee of the borough of Milltown to get information. So I apologize to the residents because I feel like we dropped the ball, and even going forward, we dropped it when the notice that to the mill residents of the boil water advisory had been lifted, but yet still people didn't get that information right away and they had to ask around. And that was really upset me because that's a health issue and they should have been notified right away. It should be on the news flash. It should have been in Nixle. I think they got things delivered, but we will make sure that we have some sort of set policy. If there's a water main break, people will get notified, and various other things that I think that we need to address as to what goes on the news flash. It's not just left up to somebody to do. Hold on one second. Did I have something else? I guess not. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Happy holidays to you all.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Collins opened the door, and I'm going to close it.
I was going to say one thing. I don't mean to interrupt, but Mr. Collins, I am the person you might want to speak to because I'm the liaison to the cable TV and the web, so I will speak.
Tier of this borough, which he had no right to do. His character is shady at best, Mr. Collins, for doing that in this forum. ELAC is the authorities that you want to speak to. You should have never brought it here. You are an educated man. You could have gotten that information before you came here, but you chose to come here and do it in an improper manner. Shame on you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
He basically came to just cast aspersions and let it, throw what you can up at the wall and see what sticks.
Shame on you.
But
Okay,
believe me, I will
okay.
speak to him, and I will have a full
It's
report at the
enough.
next meeting.
It's enough, okay? It's enough. Mayor's comments. Hi, Milltown, here we are. Another year done. God bless you all for hanging in there. Hoping for good things for next year. Wish you all love, happiness, spend some good time with your families regardless of your political, religious, whatever your beliefs are. Keep politics and religion out of your, keep it out of your Christmas discussions. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. Look, everybody get along, have a great time with their family, spend some time. Get back to what's really important. Turn the TV off. Spend time with human beings. Converse with each other. Love each other. That's what's important. God bless you all. We'll see you here next year. Have a good night. I'll accept the motion for adjournment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those who don't, you're going home anyway. Good night.